Welcome back to the Kaspa Silver YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the recent controversy that has happened with the Kaspa currency account on X. So if you don't recall, this has happened a few weeks ago that the Kaspa account randomly changed its name to Kaspa Unofficial. And then a lot of people were giving a lot of flack for this change. And I totally understand why, because I personally believe that it is unnecessary to do. But the account decided to make this post and say recently there has been a growing awareness that despite the project's decentralized nature, this account was often perceived as an official representation. To address this misconception, we feel name modification is due. What should my name be in your opinion? And gave three options of Kaspa, Kaspa Unofficial, and Kaspa Community Page. Now, the problem with this post is the fact that we have never, as a Kaspa community, made decisions off of X polls. And this is a horrible way to make decisions because X polls are known to be heavily botted every single time. And with all this going on, a couple of community members spoke their mind about this issue. We had Shy that gave a pretty long detailed response to what was happening here, as well as JH, which is a individual from the Kaspa Ecosystem Foundation. And then we actually had Jonathan, the founder of Kaspa himself, make an article talking about this and actually admits that this change from Kaspa to Kaspa Unofficial was actually his doing. He says here, I am the sole culprit behind the recent sagas surrounding our X account and the name of Kaspa's atomic unit. It was my own doing. Regrettably, I have no accomplices to share the credit with. I genuinely empathize with fellow Kaspers who felt confused, distressed, or deflated by my actions. Though I cannot offer sincere apology, I can and should offer more context. And he goes into a lot more details as to why he made this change, and I'm not going to read the entire article, but just want to highlight a few different points of this article that I think I should mention. He says here, to the extent that this saga turns into an identity crisis for many Kaspa fans, it is a long overdue one. There is a choice to be made. Are we here for the cozy feeling of a cohesive community with a welcoming center of the hub, or are we committed to penetrating the crypto, thence the broader market with a P2P electronic cash system and a trustworthy store of value? And I think this is a very, very important question to ask ourselves. What are we really doing here? What is the goal of Kaspa? And I think this change actually exposed something that needed to be exposed for the longest, where the decentralized nature of Kaspa was slowly being lost. Now, of course, the network itself is decentralized, but when it comes to the community, that decentralized nature, I personally feel myself, was being lost. It seems like everyone was trying to sit back, relax, and let some few members make all the decisions and kind of make Kaspa move forward. But the important thing about Kaspa is that we all have a say in it, and we all can have an opportunity for change to happen within Kaspa if we feel like something needs to change, and that all opinions are actually valid within Kaspa. It is not wrong to critique Kaspa, and I think this is something that separates us from Bitcoiners a lot, is the fact that within the Kaspa community, we do not shy away from critiques. We instead try to explain them head on and actually acknowledge them. And it is important to acknowledge that Kaspa is not just something that is perfect, that has absolutely no flaws, and that we are just on our way to success. There are huge hurdles that Kaspa needs to get over, especially when it comes to the security funding and just simply attracting users. He further says here, there are dozens of crypto projects which offer much richer tech stacks, production live apps, and marketing budgets than Kaspa or Bitcoin. Kaspa's value can be unlocked and recognized only if Kaspa is looks, feels, smells culturally open source, practically centerless, and constitutionally principled. The existence of an official social account fails the gut check. And this is just Jonathan's view that this Kaspa currency account was appearing to be too official, meaning that anything that this account says is fact. And basically everyone was relying on this account to basically be their source of news and information, which I don't blame anyone for doing that because it is a really good, reliable account. But we need to remember that this account is controlled by centralized people. As you could see, Jonathan himself has control of this account. And it is important to realize that one day this account can start saying things that we as a community do not agree with. But ultimately, it won't matter because Kaspa is beyond accounts on social media and what individual opinions that people have online. Kaspa itself is stateless and is still able to operate without the need of every single person within the Kaspa community completely agreeing with every single thing that's happening within the community. He also says here in particular, they have never undermined the authority of Kaspa Core. Had they attempted to do so, that would be a breath of fresh air. And this is him just stating how there have been other people within the Kaspa community that has taken on the marketing aspect of Kaspa when it comes to like social media and stuff like that. And he's thankful that these people that have done that have never tried to go against the core developers of Kaspa. But Jonathan himself says that if they did, this would actually be a very good thing because we need to have critiques within the Kaspa community. That is what makes us stateless and decentralized, when every type of opinion can exist within our community and we're not just shutting down people when they don't want to follow the status quo. The whole reason why a lot of people are in Kaspa is because they stopped following the status quo of Bitcoin and the made up ideologies that nothing else can ever exist except for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the only thing that's going to ever exist long term. He also says here, is it a good thing then to describe Kaspa community as united and conflict free? This community is one of the friendliest and welcoming communities in crypto. Compared to Bitcoin 2014 to 2015, it is virtually toxic free. The atmosphere, at least that projected by the brand's headquarters, is almost too positive and worry free. And he's even critiquing the social media accounts themselves, that basically everything about Kaspa, when it comes from the top accounts or top people who are talking about it, are too positive and too worry free. And I think it is important to be positive, but it is also important to have a good balance of exposing the risk and exposing the potential concerns that Kaspa may have, which I have consistently done on my channel. We consistently have talked about the security funding issue and talked about the adoption issue and talk about just the fact that if people are not using Kaspa day to day, it will fail. So I have tried my best to consistently be as vocal as possible when it comes to both sides of Kaspa and hearing both points of views where there's probably some issues within Kaspa, such as like the emission schedule and stuff like that. I've gave my reasons why I believe it's a good thing, but many people think it is a bad thing. And I would agree with some of those worries because of the fact that the emission schedule is too fast. And if we don't bring in that adoption, then it's going to be pretty troublesome for the miners. Lastly, he says here, first things first, for Kaspa to become a globally trusted asset in the order of today's trillions of US dollars, the community's culture must be conducive to becoming the cradle of money. Some degree of tension and contention must linger in the air for the moneyness properties of a society's collectible to emerge. Our rivals, our competitors, our adversaries must feel comfortable storing their wealth herein. High net worth individuals who distrust this author, hopefully the club has grown larger in the past 48 hours, must feel Kaspa is nonetheless an absolute safe haven for their wealth. It must pass the eye test of institutional investors. Kaspa must Bitcoinize. And the reason why he says Kaspa must Bitcoinize is because people within Bitcoin literally do not care about any single person's opinion on Bitcoin because they just understand Bitcoin itself. And I think this is something that is really important that Kaspa can achieve, is the fact that whatever the founder of Kaspa says, it ultimately does not matter. And he himself even says here that he hopes that there are more people that disagree with him, because ultimately Jonathan himself, being known as the founder, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't even like to call himself that. He likes to call himself the originator, because ultimately Kaspa is not just one person coming up with everything. It's a work of multiple people that have come together and created Kaspa, but Jonathan just gets like most of the recognition, but he's not even a developer. He does not do any coding. He just simply writes protocols and does research on Kaspa. but he himself does not want to be the center of attention for Kaspa, and he would hope that more people distrust him. Despite people distrusting the founder, people will still trust Kaspa itself because it should be trustless. So he ends off this article saying, "Trust me, don't trust me. If I have disappointed you, perhaps you shouldn't have appointed me in the first place. If you wish for the mask to remain, I have merely pointed at the faces overseeing the masquerade." And just ending off here that if you have a problem with the founder and the decisions he's made recently or something like that, it is pretty much your fault for placing so much trust in the founder. And it is his opinion on how he thinks about things. And if you don't agree with it, it doesn't change Kaspa. Now, I myself had my own opinion about this as well. And it came about after reading this user's response to this situation. He says all the attention caused by the Kaspa currency account name change to unofficial is a pretty good thing, sparking reflection and saying a lot about the Kaspa community. Reading the comments, it feels like the entrenched XRP or Solana crypto model still lives rent-free in most people's minds. They say, yes, Cas is decentralized, but quickly change the account name back. What are you doing? Unable to imagine the project as a community. So a question for you, what would you do if that account disappeared one day? Did Satoshi need a community vote for his disappearance? Or if the biggest developers vanished, like with Bitcoin, Satoshi disappeared? What some see as a tragedy based on certain comments is a big part of why Bitcoin is where it is today. How many of you have looked into Bitcoin? Probably most. How many care about the Bitcoin account before buying BTC or seeking info? How many believe it's Bitcoin's official account? Personally, when I heard about Bitcoin, I wasn't even on X. Lots of people talk about Bitcoin on X and beyond. Accounts like Sailor have more influence than the Bitcoin, official Bitcoin account itself, which isn't even official. Someone owns this Bitcoin account, has 7.6 million followers, but no one cares about what this account says. My point, people figure things out the easy or hard way. Kaspa has tons of great accounts on X and elsewhere spreading the word. With this post, I don't want to say bad words about this Kaspa account. It has a big impact, and that's great. As far as I'm concerned, they can rename themselves to Kaspalicious or When Moon if they want, which is true. We have to be okay with these kind of name changes. Yes, I may not agree. It may be a bad look if they were to change their name to this, but I think it's important that, hey, we can give those critiques out, and if they don't even do the change, then okay, it's whatever. Because at the end of the day, Kaspa is not reliant on these accounts to be successful. I say here, I think they should have just kept it as Kaspa, which is just what I believe. There are better ways to ensure that Kaspa remains decentralized and stateless. I want to also add what I said in the Discord. Just to add some awareness, there could be a day the main accounts get compromised and turned into a type of LTC or BTC main accounts. It's okay to share our thoughts on things being done, but because we should not treat these accounts as official, we should be ready for wild stuff to happen with these official accounts. Kaspa will go on. It doesn't need an official social media account to exist. And that is extremely important. I mean, if we're looking at the Bitcoin account here, you can see 7.6 million followers, and they're posting the price of Bitcoin. They're posting a mountain with the Bitcoin picture. I mean, are these posts really productive at all? No, they're not. And if we look at even the Litecoin account, it's basically the same kind of thing. They're over here posting memes. They actually blocked me personally. So like this Litecoin account doesn't officially represent Litecoin. I mean, some people may look at it like that. Some people may be mad that they're just doing memes now. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't care. There is a chance that the main Kaspa account that people view as official can turn into accounts like Bitcoin and Litecoin, and it shouldn't matter. Kaspa will go on. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and please let me know down in the comments below what you think about the recent name change that had happened. If you think it's a real issue, or if you agree with me that we should just really not focus too much on it and instead just move on and continue trying to promote Kaspa the best we can and bring in that adoption. So thank you guys again for watching. If you have not considered getting yourself a Tangent wallet, you can consider clicking the link down below to pick up one of their Kaspa branded wallets, and you could receive 10% off your purchase if you use the code KaspaSilver at the checkout. I just want to make you guys all aware that I recently did just have my first child. My wife gave birth to a baby girl, and so content will be a little bit slow for the next coming weeks. But thank you guys again for watching. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here. And as always, don't be average, be different.